The naturalistic fallacy says that if it's natural, it's good. If it's unnatural, it's bad. Committing this fallacy might seem harmless enough most of the time. Maybe the guava nectar shampoo sounded good to you. Or maybe you like organically grown foods because it sounds more healthy. No man-made chemical fertilizers. But you know what that means, don't you? It means they're growing your food in a fertilizer made from a slurry of cow shit and fish guts instead. Now, if you want to buy shit and guts lettuce, be my guest. But I've noticed that people fall into this trap about all kinds of moral issues, too, which is what I want to focus on. It's easy to imagine that nature knows what it's doing. I agree that there are a lot of things in nature that just seem to be in perfect balance. When we cut ourselves, we heal. The tides come in, the tides go out. Some would say that these things are evidence of design. But was this a design with intelligence or intent? Crude forces like gravity can form worlds without the benefit of intelligence. A process like evolution can filter maladaptive traits from populations, behaving just like a designer, with no intelligence required. There has been far too much trial and error involved in evolution for us to mistake our existence for a planned outcome anyway. Natural selection has been a wonderful designer, but it has been too wasteful and too pitiless for us to accuse it of having intent. Of course, there are examples in nature where it can be said that intelligence was involved in design. There are plant species whose flowers are colored the way they are simply because the local insects could see those colors better than others. Since the favored plants were visited more frequently, they became the favored breeders. In a sense, the colors were selected for by the insects like humans breeding dogs. I can imagine that this sort of intelligent design goes on all the time in nature, which is part of the reason things seem designed, and it's part of the reason I think it's been seductive for us to rely on nature to decide how things ought to be. A good example is the gay rights debate. Both sides arguing about whether homosexuality is natural. Both sides arguing about whether it's a choice. In my opinion, homosexuality is natural and it's not a choice, but those things shouldn't even matter. Of course, the whole reason this even comes up is because religious folks in America have to make a secular argument, and the only ones available to them are these weak-kneed logical fallacies. But instead of calling them on it, rationalists seem tempted to follow them down the rabbit hole. But this is why we should resist that temptation. This argument wouldn't hold a molecule of water in any other situation. Natural doesn't necessarily mean correct. If I said that because cancer is natural, we should start up a nonprofit called Save the Tumors, the best I could hope for would be to be ignored. If I said that because toilet paper use cannot be found in nature, we should all go back to the old rubbing on a stump routine, that couldn't be considered an argument. If I said that vanilla ice cream preference is a choice, so we should make it illegal, I would sound as ridiculous as people should be made to feel for making this argument in any other context. But this is what the straw-grasping religious people are saying, that because gayness is a choice, it is wrong. Excuse me, when did choices become bad things? Did I miss a meeting? Make a real argument or get lost. That's what we should be telling them.